I am. Hello, everybody. This is the Global Party 2017, Healing from the Inside Out. And that is the energetic and enthusiastic Renette now in South Africa.
Yes, and it's a beautiful day here this morning.
Is it?
Yes, sun is shining.
The sun up?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Wow, that's great. And so you just have to allow all that beautiful feeling in South Africa to permeate everywhere else in the world right now.
Yes, absolutely. Spreading the love.
So you're going to be talking today about creating health. And before we get going, we're going to get present, because in that presence of just being present, that's probably where we start to create this authenticity of health. So what song did you pick?
I picked Beethoven's Picks Me Up. The words in German, it is originally wrote in German, mean all people can be brothers. So it's that joy of the possibility of us being brothers.
Can we be sisters too?
Yes, obviously. You know, that is and this is why we know wild women, hey, going into our natural state and being who we are.
Okay, here we go. Woo! I hit the wrong key. Oh my gosh, that is just so beautiful. I'm going to put the clip on after so everybody can really feel the full effect, because we lose it in the transmission. But Jenny here, I don't know if you saw that, Renette, is just saying powerful music and great to start in the present. Yes. Awesome.
Thank you.
And we walk alone. It's so beautiful. Yes, thank you, Jenny. There you go. So where did this journey begin, Renette, that you are such a stand for knowing about creating health, having a structure of health, just being health?
Well, probably because I grew up with a mother who was a healer, and health was her primary focus all her life. She actually still was helping patients. She was a doctor in naturopathy. She was still helping the patients on the night prior to passing. So she literally was really true. But the other, and the creating the structure for creating health is actually a structure. So it's the work I work with and teach people the skill of inspiring is to live as a creator instead of as a reactor. So instead of in creating health, you want to feel that you like, rather than trying to focus on taking away what you don't like. And to get back to my mom, she it was an experience that I recall when I was probably about 5, where somebody came to visit us. We lived on a farm in Lusaka, so we lived on sticks. And that's probably why she owned the skill of using her brain hands to help to get me, because we were far from any doctors, like that. And many of that would come to her for first aid. Well, so she had to become. And on this particular day, people came and visited, and it was an older couple, and he could get out of the car when they stopped. We were 18 miles to Saga, so he had arthritis and arthritic fingers were clamped to the wheel. Couldn't get out of the car, couldn't get his hand to the wheel. So there was a panic and all kinds of things to try to move his fingers. And then my mother decided to heal him. We were sitting there in the car, we all shooed away. You know how much children stood, look around the corner and see what's going on. And my mother just stood there doing what she learned to do in terms of healing. And used to put her hands on different places on him and used to breathe in the big. And he climbed out of the car with no pain, and he remained free of pain for as long as we know of him. He obviously passed away later. For many years after, we're still painful. And I think that made a really big impression on me, because I realized over time, I didn't realize this, I realized over time, we actually can heal our body. And we can actually do it.
Just like Renette, sorry. Yeah. Jenny's saying that there's a little trouble. I'm having it too, but she's also, you're breaking in and out.
Oh, is it better if I'm sitting here? But just tell me.
Yeah, that sounds better. It sounds better to me.
Thanks. Let us know if there's any more trouble. Sounds good to you.
Okay.
So that's really to answer your initial question. It came about that I am interested in healing and creating health.
So we've talked before about that there's either the structure of health, right? There's this idea that you're avoiding it, or the idea that you just believe everything is falling into place regarding it. Can you speak more into how that supports creating your own health?
Yes, it's a different orientation. I just want to check, am I clear now? Can you hear me? I don't know if Jenny is still there.
You're saying sounds much better.
Okay, great. I'll sit forward. Obviously, I'm too far away from it. So the difference is literally where your energy goes. We are a confluence of two energies. We have the energy stream of spirit, and we have the energy stream of the earth. And because everything in matter has the earth's energy. And so we are that coming together of these two rivers all the time in us. And we are also the alchemist, transmuting this energy into the gold of life, the elixir of life, whatever you want to call it. So our end result, our health, is what will be our elixir. We're creating health. And we are at the same time a crucible, which becomes heated up, that holds these energies within. And what we put in that crucible is actually the essence of our life. That's the force we work with. So how this force flows, how we transmute, depends on where our focus is.
Okay.
While we are living. So we can choose to keep trying to take away what we don't like, or to fix things in our health. And this is where the whole medical paradigm is. It's not about healing, it's about alleviating pain or prolonging life. And it's not healing the physical body as such. It's just you've got a problem, treat the problem. True healing is letting the body do what it knows how to do, because it is a self-healing mechanism. It heals itself. When we cut our skin, it's not us fixing this cut skin. The body does. You just need to give it what it needs to do that. And where your energy flows is where this alchemy takes place. So if your energy is flowing, fixing the problem, you're going to keep having problems. You'll be oscillating. So you will be solving the headache, but now that that problem hasn't been resolved, I'm just taking a idea. And the next thing you'll have another headache or worse, and so it goes. And you're constantly trying to sort out the little things that are not right, what the big thing. And the focus becomes trying to find a cure, trying to find a person who can cure you. And it's an external focus. But our body is also our interface between our soul and ourselves. It speaks to us through what it's representing. I think that people probably notice that they're all with some arthritis, and that's me irritated. I was very irritated when I was younger. I spent all my teenage years highly irritated, most of my 20s as well. So it's only later in my life that I managed to just realize that this is what I'm doing. I didn't then have the visible sign. That only started in my mid-40s, I think. But that is what my body was telling me. It was telling me, I'm not loving what's going on in my life. I'm not loving who I am. I'm being irritated by the things I don't like and trying to fix them. So, sorry, are you still okay?
Is that a microphone that you have there?
Yes.
Can you pick it up closer to you?
Yeah. Is this better?
Oh. Night and day.
Okay, cool. So it's obviously too far from me. Sorry. We should have picked up on this earlier. So I'll lose just one hand.
That's okay. we can do that last part about, so just describe one more time, because this is so important, and really what you're saying here about creating health could be repeated over and over and over again, because it's very seldom heard compared to what's been broadcast live all over the world about how people think health is.
Yes. Yes. So what I'm saying is that our energy, where our energy flows, depends on the structure in which we are sending it. It's like a house's structure. Like in this room I'm in, the window is in front of me. Right. That determines where I'm sitting. If I want to speak to you with light on my face, I can't sit over there because then I'll be dark on one side. So the structure of my room determines how I move within it. And the same with our life force, that essence that we have in the crucible of ourselves as alchemists, transmuting it into the gold of what we would love. And that structure will either be a conflicting structure where you are constantly trying to take away things or fixing things. And in health, you're trying to take away the pain, the headache, the sickness. And then your focus becomes external to yourself. And you are trying to get other people to help you or other things to help you. Instead of going within yourself, because your body is a self-healing mechanism.
Yes.
And it's also a teaching tool. It's our interface between ourselves and our souls. And our body reflects and expresses what we are repressing. So what we don't own, the bitterness, the sadness, the irritation in my case, the body reflected the irritation the arthritis in my fingers.
Right.
So I didn't own that. I knew I was irritated, but I didn't own. I was blaming others, which is why I was irritated. I didn't go within. It's only later in my life that I started to look inside myself and started loving myself and started changing there. And in fact, I don't have any pain in this arthritis. I did have, but I don't anymore. And I've nearly lost my thread. I was saying yes. So the other structure is the creative one, and that's how we create health. The creative structure is one where you recognize, right, I've got arthritis. But I don't try and fix the arthritis, just to use this as an example. I want a vitally healthy and beautiful body. That's my end result that I'd like to have. So I keep focus on what that would be like to be vitally healthy and to be beautiful. And I daily tune in and find out which action step will give that to me. But I am aware of whatever is not being well at the moment in my body, for instance, with my fingers. I'm aware of that. And you would daily then check in and say, see, what's the next obvious action step towards that end result? But your focus becomes the end result and the things that are not right, but you need to own them. You need to know. It's not about saying, oh, I'm just well and it'll all go away. It's knowing this really hurts, or this is really uncomfortable, or this is really scary, or whatever it is, depending on what the situation is. But not trying to fix it, just tuning in to what you'd love it to be. And then taking actions that will bring that into being. So you are creating your health. If I can use an example, I don't know, are you okay, Jacqueline? You don't have any questions yet?
Well, I was just wondering, so in creating your health, and you were saying, okay, so your fingers might represent some restrictions or limitations. Why do you still have the label that it's arthritis versus just knowing that it's like it's something that you're working through?
Just for convenience's sake.
Okay.
So it's just, you know.
Yeah. No, I was just, yeah.
Okay. So an example that of something recently, you know, our son became very ill and ended up needing open heart surgery and was in hospital for 52 days. And he did this work to create health, and it's still ongoing. His heart still has a way to go to heal completely. He only started being able to work again 2 weeks ago. But our focus was not, it was like a catastrophic event almost. They said if he came into hospital the next day and not the one he did, they wouldn't have been able to pull him through. But our whole focus was on what can we do and what can he do to heal, not on what can he do to not be sick.
Right.
So that is sort of the different energy. And then you often take the same steps, but the steps you're taking now are coming from an energy of creating something, bringing something into being, instead of the energy of wanting to take away what is not right for you or comfortable or painful, whatever. And our focus there, we used a number of things. He did a lot of chakra work, balancing his chakras, drawing in. We are light bodies. We're energetic beings. And being aware of that and connecting to that helps the body to heal. So he did chakra work. I did therapeutic touch for him. By the way, there's a little video that people can go onto my web and download for free if they like on therapeutic touch. I demonstrate basically how one does that. And excuse me, and his wife did therapeutic touch for him as well. And we addressed his diet. The hospital food is not for getting well on. So we gave him a lot of nutrition and natural nutrition.
Right.
And yeah, so there are many things, and he kept doing this work on a daily basis of tuning into what it is like to be well. And he achieved that. Initially, they had wanted to remove his heart valve, and his focus was to have his heart valve repaired.
Right.
And that's what they were able to do. So I don't know if that's a good enough illustration of applying this to create health, how the different focus is. The focus of the medical person is infectious diseases medical doctor. Her focus was entirely just on her intravenous antibiotic, which she prescribed for 46 days.
Right.
And she wanted the mitral heart valve removed within the week that he was in ICU, when he was just admitted, when his whole immune system was completely down. Right. So our focus was on getting his immune system to a space where he could survive, could really recover well from open heart surgery, and also have his valve repaired rather than replaced. So her focus was on the opposite, taking away the disease and the problem on the valve by replacing it with something else. The fact that he would then be on blood thinners for the rest of his life, and he's 41, didn't bother her, but it bothered him because of the nature of his work. He doesn't want to risk that he's bleeding freely. Right. Plus, there's a lot of other side effects that he didn't want. So now he's not on blood thinners. He was obviously during the time that he was in hospital. So that's the difference. The difference is creating health.
Yes.
Versus being, and that structure is a creative orientation where you are moving the energy, this energy that's in your crucible. You're transmuting that into the elixir of health instead of trying to fix and sort out what's wrong. And as I say, you often take the same steps, but where the energy is, and that's why it's important, because we're energetic beings. Where the energy is, takes you to the end result you choose.
That's well said. And I'm what comes to my mind is people that have been diagnosed with cancer, and typically they'll say, they might remove lymph nodes, which are designed to, remove the toxins from your body, but they'll remove those out of your body, and then they'll give you a treatment, and they'll still say you're not necessarily ever healed because it can come back again in 5 years. And so you're still in this susceptibility of, is it going to happen again? Whereas if you approach it from a sense of healing and realize that your body was exhibiting these symptoms because something's going on, and you were getting in touch with them, like Sonia was saying, your body has a message in that sense, then you're starting to put your focus towards creating health. And they may be the same steps, but ultimately 5 years down the road, you're not recreating the same thing that you had that caused the issue in the first place. Is that the idea?
Yes, because when you have that underlying fear and you don't, the one important thing is to own you have it, and then to just not try and resolve it. Because you'll try and resolve it by either trying to ignore it, because that's also a way of expressing your fear, is to pretend it's not there at all. Right. But to own that you've got it and that you really feel scared. And then to consciously, through conscious act of will, choose what you would love, which would be your health. And our throat is our voice, our will, where we articulate the energy from all of our creative chakras. And choice activates your will. So by consciously choosing the end result, and you want to choose an end result, what will it look like?
Right.
When it's a done deal. What does that look like? And that's what you keep creating, bringing that into being.
So do you do like a visualization board or something pertaining to that? Is that just a visualization in the head? I mean, when you're creating what you ultimately want to see?
Well, it's really mostly a day. For me, it's a daily. I have different choices, which initially I have, and I take my clients through this as well. We do that's about a 2-hour session of finding what their soul would love for them to be expressing at a given moment. This changes over time because we create it. So you create something and it's done. Now you need to create something else.
Right.
A painter doesn't do one painting and then holds on to it forever. So you are creating, and you're a limitless being. So there's limitless opportunities, and at different periods in our life, different things are what's right for us, not what's right, but what would be great to do right then. So that is a deep meditative experience where I guide people to this ocean of plenitude, of infinitude, what you want to call it. The word suddenly escapes me. And then from that experience, we then start finding the themes and creating choices of end results that are pertaining to the themes. So, because we have different themes in our life, we've got our health, we've got our work, our finances, relationships, children, if we've got children, so on. So you then daily tune in to 3 things on your particular choice for that day. If it was health, you would tune into your choice. Like with me, my choice of being vitally healthy and having a vitally healthy and beautiful body. I would tune in a meditative state to what that's like. And then I would tune in again and just leave it, and then tune in a meditative state, because you want to get in touch with your intuition knows, yourself, your inner being knows. Your mind wants to know how, but your heart knows.
Right.
So then tune into what your mind is thinking, what your egoic nature is thinking about that. And it'll be all the things. For me, it was a lot of, I'm old. I'm 68. So heck, 70 is now a lot closer than it used to be 8 years ago. So that would be, you're too old to do this, or you're weak, or you wrinkled, or whatever the things are.
Right.
And you don't try and fix that thing, but you need to know what's going on. Otherwise, it'll bite you in the bum. It'll come up, and then you're in that oscillating, conflicting structure.
Okay.
When you're unaware. And then the third step is to see what your action step is right now to get to being in that end result, to create that end result. What do I do today? And you then take those, and then you consciously choose those action steps, and you choose the end result.
So now do you also do you prescribe or suggest things in terms to support them in this, or is this all really like what we're talking about here, healing from the inside out, dealing with their emotions, their beliefs, their patterns, their visualizations of where they want to go, or is there like supplementation?
What do you mean with supplementation? Sorry, I always associate that with vitamins.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean.
No.
Are you prescribing you want to go on a raw food diet with this too?
No.
Okay.
No, it is literally, they might find that going on a raw food diet is what they need, would be what they need to do right now. And but I don't prescribe things. And if I used to make big vision boards and things and have it all out there, and it really didn't get me where I wanted to be.
Right.
And because I realized the vision board is actually about the things I don't like now in my life, and that's what I want in my life. It was still actually in the conflicting structure.
Right.
Now, if I have reminders, I sometimes have a reminder of a choice, mainly to remind me to remember to stay in the end result.
Right.
And my husband and I actually remind each other, you end result, and we just hop back into remembering, okay, this is the end result. And you can create end results for anything. In fact, I urge people to start choosing what they want in every area of their life, in small things even, and choosing end results for everything. If we, yesterday, I needed to see my son to help me with something, and there was a time limit on it, and it was long weekend and Friday afternoon traffic, and it was sort of like, ooh, we're never going to be there on time because he lives quite a distance away. So we created an end result of being there and the thing being done within the time frame, and we achieved that. So whenever, and I was of course behind a very slow truck going over the mountain here. So instead of going, oh man, how am I even going to do this? Which is, come on. I just kept saying to myself, end result, and visualizing and being in that end result of the thing is done. It's perfect.
And even if it didn't turn out perfect, it's a lot better feeling, I would think, to be visualizing the result you wish versus feeling like you're a victim of circumstance.
Yes, and that feeling, and that's usually a cue for you. I'm glad you brought that up, Jacqueline. I've actually got a YouTube video on stress versus tension, I think is the title. And that's the difference. If you're feeling stressed, you can know you're in a conflicting structure.
Okay.
So you're going to keep self-sabotaging or oscillating or keep getting new problems to fix. If you have tension is that feeling of there's a lot going on, but you're just holding it. You're not trying to deal with it by fixing it and changing it. It's like and it's pulling a bow back to shoot an arrow. You need tension on that string to shoot that arrow far. And that tension, you're aware of it. It's not comfortable, but stress is also not comfortable. But the tension is the other energy where you are in a creative orientation and bringing something into being. And there are two brilliant questions to keep asking yourself also about your health. Just ask yourself, where's my focus? In other words, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to fix something or get away from something? Or am I bringing something into being? So that's the first question. And the second question is, what would I love? So you have whatever the thing is that's going on, what you would love is the end result you'd love to have. So then you choose to focus, consciously choose to focus on what you would love.
It sounds so easy. Why isn't everybody doing it?
Well, it's easy and it's not easy. The reason it's not easy is because it's not our usual way of being. Our whole society and our whole paradigm generally is not about being creators. Everything is about fixing, about taking away. I see that very much, for instance, in our government structures and in school structures. Something happens and they bring in more rules. And they try and constrain. They don't. We're not living in a society and a paradigm where people are invited and allowed to create. Children have to all be the same when they're in school. If they're not, they get medicated to be the same. So that's quite a strong statement, but If your child is what our son was called hyperactive in those days, today they call it ADT or something, attention deficit disorder, ADD, and he was bouncing around on his desk, and they wanted him to sit still and wanted him on Ritalin, and I refused. I got him through school without any medication. In fact, none of our children had any medical interventions until they left home. So I raised them naturally.
That's great. And so Brenda is just saying, what a simple question. What would I love, right? Now,
yes.
See, from my standpoint, is we were born, or we came in with this awareness and this intelligence to be present. And then we were taught to get out of it. So I'd like to consider that the paradigm that people are buying into is the illusion one. And they just need to decide that they don't want that one. And just as they get in touch here, they realize, oh, why would I even think that way? Why would I make a choice that gives me stress when I could choose something that I loved? Right?
Yes. No, it's good. And Brenda, that's the most powerful question you can ask yourself in every situation. Even when you're wanting to get dressed in the morning, you don't know what to put on. Just what would I love to put on? And Jacqueline, I would, the reason why it's not so simple for people is because to a large extent, people have forgotten what they would love. That's why I say I connect people to their truth. Because we do, over time, by having bought into all these other concepts and other people's thoughts and feelings, and we're more concerned about what they're thinking about us than concerned about who we are, and trying to please everybody out there so that we can fit in, and we can't. We're wild people. Our natural state is to be wild as in nature wild. And we've become conditioned to be certain ways. And it's because we are that confluence of those two streams of energy. So your egoic personality part of yourself that wants to keep you safe, there's nothing wrong with it. It's there. You've got the reticular activation system in the back of the brain that filters what you're going to react and respond to, and it reminds you whenever you have something that takes you out of being comfortable, it reminds you, remember, hey, remember that other time you were made such a fool of in front of the class, or whatever it is. Don't do that. And then you have your soul stream of energy, that river coming in, and that says, you are such an amazing person, go for it. This is for you, do it. So that's why it's so difficult for us to do it. And that's why it's so brilliant to have so many people who can coach one and mentor one, because that really, I would have been lost if I didn't have a personal coach. She's been coaching me close on 3 years now on a regular basis. And it just helps because you drift. Things happen. Life happens. We move house. And suddenly everything is chaos. And yes, I'm creating. I think we've lost ourselves. Are you there? You went away.
Back again.
But when everything is in boxes and there's not space for anything and things are chaotic and I'm not getting around to doing other things, I need my coach there to remind me and guide me to see what my limitless self has in mind for me, because I will then be too connected to what my egoic self has. So, and you need to know both, because otherwise it's in your unaware conscious, nothing about it.
Okay.
Did that answer your question? Sorry, it's a bit long. long.
Yeah, no, it's just something that I've noticed, that I still feel that people spend too much energy on what they want to get rid of.
Mm.
And I feel like it's again, it's a story that we've all bought into, that we have to keep going back over here. And because really, just like you said about the cut healing, it's natural for our heart to beat, it's natural for us to breathe. So it's natural for us to have health in our bodies and to create health. So I envision that people start to tap in and tune in, just as you're saying, in that sense of trusting themselves, that everything can be easy. It can be what they love, because that's how we were created. We don't have to know how to do it, because it's in our existence, right? So it's like, I could talk about this stuff, Renette, with you and like Brenda. I mean, we should do these round table things, because this is the type of conversation I'd love to see every day out there in the world, because we have to just continue to express this vibration that you can heal from the inside out. And then the people that are never have known, because at once upon a time I didn't know. You know, your mother was a healer, but I didn't know, and I was in the pharmaceutical system. And then we wake up and we have change. So we're just going to have to do more and more and more of this. That's all I can say. So how can people get a hold of you?
The simplest way is to go onto my website, www.renettenell.co.za. And then there's two options there. They can click on the one option and go to my Facebook page, which is Renette Hinsbeer-Knell, my maiden name, Hinsbeer. Or they can also opt in and get that training video on therapeutic touch. And then Messenger, if you're friends with me on Facebook, Messenger, and we can exchange emails and so on. I'm a technophobe, so I've said it. So I'm not good with all the different ways of connectivity. I also have a landline if you want to phone me.
Perfect. But see, I think I just have the Facebook link above. So if you can put your website link below in the comments, then everybody has got that one. And as I said, I would really love to keep going, but I have to go talk to Maggie and finish this global party off with the thing. So I'm very grateful that you're here and you're sharing and letting everybody know that, yes, you can create health, and there's a structure to do it. And if they need help, to get in touch with you and make it happen.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for this amazing party you launched and held for the second time now. And enjoy the last session. I think you're brilliant for having taken this to where you actually manifesting what you'd love to bring into being.
Thank you.
And thank you for inviting me to be here with you.
Always.
Bye.
Soul sisters. Wild women soul sisters. No.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Bye, Jacqueline. Bye, everybody.
Bye.